Hello Libra, welcome to my channel Bow and Arrow Tarot. Before we get into your weekly outlook, I just wanted to let you all know that this month I am giving away the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck and guidebook to you all. Alright, in order to be eligible to win this, all you have to do is be subscribed to my channel and leave me a comment letting me know that you're interested in being in the running. Alright guys, so let's go ahead. Libra, for this is going to be for week March 29th to April 5th. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to pull out your your romance angel messages, and then we're going to pull out your animal spirits. We have codependency. And we have past life relationships, so you've known each other before for some of you. And we have worth waiting for. All right, Libra, so for some of you, you're dealing with a situation. It's definitely something that's been worth waiting for, worth hanging in there for. All right, let's go ahead and pull out your animal spirits now. Stingray, water energy. And the snake, earth energy. Okay, symbol at the top of the cards are alchemical symbols. And we have the golden egg. So associated with the heart chakra. This has been coming out quite a few times for the weeklies also. So let's get into your animal spirits before we move ahead. The stingray is associated with water, and it's this feeling of learning how to stand up for yourself. So some of you, the spirit of the stingray is coming in because you may be finding your feet with a situation with family or friends or even a lover, where you're learning how to stand up for yourself. You're learning that your feelings are valid. You don't need to have somebody else validate them, and more than anything, you have to find your own feet and sense of spine, right? This is why the spine is colored in the colors of creative expression, the rainbow colors of creative expression, because it's like you're developing that backbone to stand up for yourself, right? And that's difficult because that's a hard process. It can be hard to stand up to family or to stand up to friends or to stand up to people and say, look, this is not what you want me to do, or what you see of me is not who I am. This is who I am, and this is what I want to do, and this is my position. It's a difficult thing, right? But you have to choose, and what will happen with the spirit of the stingray is that the spirit will keep bringing this challenge to you, right? Because it is challenging you now at this point in your life to do that, to stand up for yourself, to have a stronger sense of confidence and self-esteem, and just individuality in the sense that you're willing to not compromise yourself. Now, the snake comes in, is earth energy, and the snake really represents the potential that we all have to create whatever we want, right? It's the potential, and it's tapping into that potential. Everyone has it, and the snake eating its tail is one of these sort of worldwide archetypes of the symbol for infinite, right? Infinity. There's no beginning, there's no end. This is the idea of infinity. And so this is what we're talking about, the limitless potential as well that is available to you. So for some of you, you're coming into a period right now where there's a real sort of, I want to say, a creative dawn maybe happening for you. An enlightening period, an awakening period where you're just suddenly feeling very sort of, you feel that the world is open to you, right? That you can really just create anything that you desire if you put your mind to it and put your focus to it. So it's a real feeling of ability. It's an earth animal spirit, so it's a very grounded feeling of suddenly being able to accomplish and do things that you maybe didn't think you could do before. The golden egg is associated with the heart chakra, and it has the alchemical symbol for ether at the top of the card there. And what we love about the golden egg is that it's golden for a reason, right? How do we open up our heart chakra? We open our heart chakra by being warm, right? Warmth. And when we talk about warmth, we talk about sort of understanding, being able to understand somebody's feelings or emotions, or talk with them in a way that engenders warmth. Warmth is just a comfortable feeling, right? We feel comfortable in warm environments. The reason why is because we feel safe. We feel protected. We don't feel like we're going to suffer. Right? When we're warm, we don't feel like we're going to suffer. When somebody is warm with you, we don't feel like being with them is going to add to our pain. It's going to allow us to alleviate our pain. And this is some of the things that is associated with the golden egg, and the idea that if you're trying to open up your heart chakra for whatever reason, or if you're in a situation where you know your heart chakra needs to be more open, warmth and the emotions associated with warmth are the quickest way to do that. Outlook by Outlook, my regular. All right, Libra, 7 of Wands, Queen of Swords, and the Star. All right, so for some of you, having talked about the animal spirits, and now we have codependency, past life, and worth waiting for. So some of you coming into this week with this 7 of Wands energy right here, and that's a real feeling of David and Goliath. It's a real feeling of battling and fighting for what you feel is important, for your position, for what you're passionate about, right? And it's really a stance of defending it, right? So it's not like you're going out in the world and you're sort of trying to enforce your idea. This is a real sort of defensive position. It's a defensive of having, defensive in a sense that you're defending yourself, not a defensive attitude, but you are absolutely defending yourself against obstacles. And I'm going to say the type of obstacles that people intentionally throw in your way. So that's a very specific energy we're talking about. 7 of Wands is the card for valor and bravery. So you're being very brave. You're being very creative about a particular area in your life that you're really being bombarded with, Libra. And you come into this week and you have some events and experiences this week that really resonate with the energy of the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is always challenging us to be our most authentic selves, right? So the Queen of Swords, you know, if we think about queens being associated with water, right? All the queens are associated with water and emotions and sensitivity in that area, right? Giving and receiving emotions, right? So when we talk about that in terms of swords energy, the Queen of Swords represents the need to express your authentic feelings, not to hide your feelings, not to pretend that you are like something when you don't like something, to pretend or to act as if you support something that you don't, or that you hate even something that you really secretly don't hate so much. These are all forms of masks. Right? We call them masks or roles, masks that we wear or roles that we play. They all seek to sort of hide our true feelings. And with the Queen of Swords, it's the energy, her energy comes into our lives when we are being challenged to be more like her, in the sense that we are being challenged not to hide those feelings, not to wear those masks, not to play those roles, to remain true to our heart. And what happens is that when you do that, you rise above the clouds and you get a lot more clarity. So there's certain events happening this week for some of you Libras that's going to give you a lot of clarity on this situation, as long as you are absolutely honest about your feelings. So an example, let me give you an example of this in real life. When we talk about these things in tarot, it's always like these grand, ideas and concepts. So how does that affect your real life? An example could be if you're at work and you're having a particular battle with someone at work, and you feel, or a battle with maybe a particular department, right? And either individuals or department rules, or just the way that department operates, you're just finding yourself constantly with all these obstacles being put in your way. You're constantly having to come up with a lot of really creative ideas to solve those obstacles, right? To get around them, to get over them, to achieve what you're trying to achieve. But you haven't been quite honest about your feelings about this entire process. There may have been certain people that you've spoken to where you've just been maybe you've been trying to play it safe, right? By, maybe maintaining the status quo, right? Not being as open about how you feel about certain things that have happened, right? And maybe this week you come into work and you find yourself in a situation where you're like, look, you suddenly come in front of certain people who might be in a position to help you or help what's going on, right? And impact it positively. And you finally say to yourself, in the spirit of the Queen of Swords, you finally say to yourself, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to tell them exactly how I feel. and you have a conversation with somebody and say, look, this is messed up. The way this department works is messed up. I have to do this, to do this, to do this, simply to simply to implement a simple solution, right? The logistics, the communication is shoddy, and you're really, really honest with this individual about how you feel about the whole process, and suddenly you find yourself talking to someone, and maybe they say they feel the same way, or maybe they're in a position to say, you know what, I didn't know it was that bad. Why don't we have a meeting with so-and-so? And suddenly this ball is rolling, or something else happens in this conversation that gives you total idea. They say, well, you know why this is happening? This is happening because so-and-so and so-and-so are in these positions. They give you some inside information suddenly. And what happens? Because you took the chance of being very honest and being very true to your feelings in a particular situation, suddenly the queen is lifted above the clouds. Suddenly now she's getting the clarity that she needs to find the right solution to her problem. So this is an example. This may not be exactly what you're going through, but I wanted to give you guys an example of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about these emotions and these energies that we are reading in the tarot. That is an example of something you may be going through. And then by the end of the week, you're going to find yourself resonating with star energy. So for some of you who are going through this, by the end of the week, you are going to realize, or you're certainly going to be much more conscious and intentional about reviewing the steps you need to take to achieve your goals. Whereas you started off the week really just battling, you have this kind of experience this week where you're realizing something about the best way forward. Suddenly there's clarity that you didn't have before. And you have a renewed sense of, I want to say, energy and passion for checking in on your life's path. The star is all about that wish we have for our life, that ultimate goal that we have, that ambition that we have, that dream that we have. And it's about, constantly checking in with that, checking in with ourselves. Am I taking the right steps towards that dream? Am I still working towards that dream? Have I been waylaid, or am I off course? What do I need to do to keep fertilizing the ground so that this dream can manifest? And so you are brought right back into that focus by the end of the week, because I think you have a step forward here. You get a step forward here in a particular area in your life that you feel very strongly about, but that you've been really battling on a lot of fronts, and suddenly clarity comes in, and you're able much more to work on this ultimate dream path for your life. It's a very nice feeling. I'm going to say it's definitely a feeling of this stingray energy coming in terms of standing up for yourself, right? Expressing yourself. And also maybe even some of that snake energy coming in terms of tapping your potential skills in certain areas that you didn't know you had. All right, next spread. 10 of Swords, King of Pentacles, and the 4 of Wands. All right, so for some of you guys, you're coming in with this outlook. 10 of Swords, King of Pentacles, 4 of Wands. And 10 of Swords is, of course, the end of a long struggle. So for some of you, again, here we have a period of time in your life where you've really had to struggle, pick yourself up. You've had a lot of blows to the ego, right? You've had a lot of knockdowns. But now this last blow to the ego, it's sort of the final straw. You find yourself really coming out of this period, really rising above, and you're not going to be this is the end, right? 10 of Swords marks the end of a long, difficult, painful path. A lot of times people talk about 10 of Swords still being, a present action of pain. It can be, but it really marks very much right that point of one stage ending and one stage beginning, right? So it's very much up to you, right? It's a very cuspy kind of area in life, and it's up to you how you're resonating with it. But certainly going forward from here, you are rising up. You have a new sort of sense of self and attitude. This ego that's dead here is going to rise new. This is almost a phoenix moment, because your ego rises up from this, and it's a different person. It's a different personality construct. And ideally, we want your ego to be smaller, right? And so in either case, you're a new person going forward from here. And I think you have the spirit of the snake coming in terms of some really strong potential that is in your life, right? That you're tapping into for this new sort of stage of your your life where you're unhindered with a lot of these difficulties you've had to deal with before. Coming into the week, you're met with the King of Pentacles energy. And I believe this is probably somebody coming into you, I'm going to say, King of Pentacles, who has a lot of influence, a lot of financial stability. This person is someone who's very sort of knowledgeable at succeeding, at manifesting. You know, King of Pentacles person is someone who has some success under their belt, right? They've figured out how to achieve things in this lifetime, and they've done it. They've manifested. They can oftentimes be, of course, people who are doing very well in their careers, financially abundant and stable. But I want to impress upon you guys all that Pentacles is also very much about the human body. Pentacles rules the earth plane, rules the human body. So this can be nurses, doctors, people who are healers with the body, who work with the body, athletes, right, whose lives depend on the health of their body. So there's a lot of parts of society that Pentacles refers to that we often don't highlight as much as we should do in the tarot. And I just wanted to say that because this could be any number of those people coming in for you this week, but it leads to a lovely love connection. Right? Four of Wands. It's a nice love connection. I can tell you one thing. This person who comes in for you is certainly somebody who, they're going to be somebody who's very successful at what they do regardless, right? Whether they are an athlete, a financier, a bookkeeper, or an artist, or a doctor, or a nurse, right, or a healthcare practitioner. They are very good at what they do. They've certainly reached a certain level of status where people have given them their accolades. They are known for being good at what they do. They certainly are known for being successful, right? For making a success out of their ideas. And oftentimes this person can be someone who's a bit like a benefactor, right? My cards are flipping over everywhere. It can be someone like a benefactor or a mentor. So, you know, people will say to you when the Pentacles card come up, they immediately start rattling off the earth signs. And I'm not even going to go there because kings are fire, Pentacles are earth, and earth signs can be, or Earth Pentacles area individuals can be anyone from a doctor to an artist to an accountant. So it really doesn't matter. What does matter is that they're successful at it. That's the thing that you want to remember. Whoever you're dealing with, whether they're an earth sign or not, there's someone who's very fiery about it. It's the court card you want to pay attention to a lot of times. The king, the fire. This is someone who's very, very accomplished. And you're going to know it. But this Four of Wands is really lovely because it's definitely a nice union. Right? It's a lovely union. It's a quick union. Venus and Aries energy for that Four of Wands. So you're talking about a union that is going to be very quickly in harmony, with mutual respect, and this kind of commitment happens very fast here. Last spread for you guys. King of Wands, another king. Fire, more fire with that strength card, and another king, King of Swords. And this is why I'm doing the spread this way, so we can start to remember what was around before. You guys have 1, 2, 3 kings and a queen. So this week is definitely a week for all Libras where you guys are going to be dealing with a lot of, I want to say, influential people, people who have authority, people who have a lot of impact on your life. But here we go, your final spread, Libra. Some of you are coming in with King of Wands energy. So here we have the fire of fire, right? The King of Wands is the leader. He's the idealist. He's the visionary. More than anything, he's the visionary, right? And he's a leader to people because of the way he goes about manifesting his vision in his life. And so people naturally follow him because he leads by example. And so this is you, Libra. You could be someone who has a certain sense of authority in a certain field, who's considered kind of off the beaten path, who really follows his or her own vision. But you certainly command a lot of respect and admiration. And you're coming into this week with a real leadership sort of attitude, right? You're met this week with certain experiences like the strength that bring about the energy of the strength card. Certain experiences, I want to say, and events come in that are forcing you really to have to deal with your inner, your inner desires, feelings, and passions, right? What is the strength card all about? It's about us being able to accept our feelings, honor our feelings. It's very much stingray energy in that way. You validate your feeling. Your feelings are valid. We're not talking about invalidating them, but understanding that your feelings, yes, they are valid. Yes, they are real, but they can't control how we act. They shouldn't control how we act. And so strength is finding that strength to not succumb to your feelings, because our feelings to us are very real and tangible. You know, when we feel angry about something, then everything we view through that emotion, we set value and fact and truth to, and it's only truth because it's a truth to us. So we have to be very careful about our feelings and our emotions controlling us. And so here you can see the woman, it's not even so much that she's controlling her feelings. The lion represents those emotions, those strong emotions. It's not even so much that she is taming him or trying to control him. She's understanding him and she's allowing him to give room to his expression. But at the end of the day, she's the one who makes the decisions of how to move forward. And so this is a very loving way of accepting yourself and accepting what's going on inside of you so that you can heal, you know, when it comes to negative emotions, but yet at the same time having that strength. And that's why we call it strength, because it is strength that's required to have those feelings and still make the right decision. You know, not to act out in jealousy and still show love and compassion and kindness. So this is something that's happening to you this week. And these are the challenges that you're going to be going through this week for a lot of you who are resonating with this. Certainly, we know that you're going to be feeling very passionate about something anyway, because you are coming in with King of Wands. Now, here's an example of what I'm talking about. Libras, you guys are air signs, but some of you are coming in this week resonating with King of Wands. Now, a lot of times when you see readers do readings and a King of Wands shows up, they're going to say to you right away, oh, you're dealing with an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But here you are Libra. You're an air sign resonating with King of Wands and coming in with King of Wands. So for someone out there, their King of Wands in their reading is you. So this is why I'm saying it's very sort of unnecessary to rattle off the sun signs whenever you see court cards, because you have Wands, Pentacles, and Swords. Ideally, you're dealing with 9 of the 12 sun signs, right? So that's confusing. And so when you are getting a reading and you feel like it's resonating with you, just kind of think about the attributes. Like here with this King of Pentacles, we have somebody who's very, very successful. Here with King of Wands, you're being very, very fiery and emotional and visionary this week, which is why you have strength. And by the end of the week here, we have another king. But this is the King of Air, so the fire of air. This is someone who's very sort of quick with their words. They're very logical. They're very forceful. They're very sort of out there in your face about their ideas and how they communicate. And this is someone who's coming in for you this week. Now, interesting, you come in resonating as a King of Wands. I think this is, again, someone else, Libra, that you're going to be dealing with this week that is very sort of like has that energy, right? They're very fiery. They also have a lot of authority. I wouldn't be surprised, Libra, if this week is, and certainly most of these readings, all three actually are probably relating or resonating with Libras out there who are in power positions, right? You may be in power positions at work or in your community, positions of authority or decision-making positions, positions of leadership, where you are also having to deal with other power figures. And this seems to be a week of you having to do a lot of that. I'm going to leave it at that, my lovely Libra. This is March 29th to April 5th. This is your weekly outlook. Let me know if you like the new way I'm doing the spread. Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Deck and Guidebook. I'm handing this out this month on my channel as part of my monthly tarot deck or Oracle deck giveaway. It'll be on March 31st, and all you have to do to be eligible to win is to be subscribed to my channel and leave me a comment letting me know you're interested. For the rest, do check out your other readings. I think your love outlook for the week is up already. Check that out. But for right now, Libra, have a wonderful week, and I hope to see you next week on Bow and Arrow Tarot. Bye-bye now.